Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We have a good conversational show lined up tonight. It's not going to be research heavy. It's going to be topic heavy tonight, and we're going to be discussing the state of the affairs of the country and how things are going right now, and making sure that people are aware of what's going on. I think we may even cover some of the players tonight. What do you think, Todd?
Oh, sure, whatever. That's fine.
Some of the
point out
lifetime
examples.
actors and the real estate agents and whatnot.
Yeah, and I really love to point out how it really does fall in line with a lot of Islamic and Russian machinations here in America. They've been going on a lot longer than we thought.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that. And in fact, I was just looking up Albert Bashai's background a little bit ago. He's an Arabic-speaking Muslim who bashes Jewish bankers while he works in mortgage banking, real estate, and credit and whatnot. So isn't that funny?
Stocks and bonds.
Stocks and bonds, that's correct. I thought, that was a bit of an interesting discovery there. Hold on, I'm just pulling it up here. But he's a Muslim, Middle Eastern American. He works in commercial and residential real estate finance specialist at All American Mortgage Bankers. Now, I could have sworn that he was against all that kind of stuff, but he's 51 years old, no family. He's too busy LARPing about the internet and trolling people. And, he even lied and said that his dad was Christian or whatever. Of course, that was a misdirection, but his own background shows that he's a Muslim. And some of these other pages on him show that he speaks Arabic. Here's his language, Arabic right here. That's definitely him. That's his photo. So, we can see that he's actually selling the whole agenda that we've been exposing for months, pretending to be a Christian and whatnot, while he's actually an Arabic-speaking Muslim going around LARPing and trolling people and harassing people who are exposing this agenda. And, of course, he has personally done, probably half a dozen or more slanderous videos on me, on you, on Lloyd, very libelous stuff. He recently put out a video saying that I was probably directly related to Judas, but this is who he is, an Arabic-speaking Muslim who is exactly doing what the Quran says to do, go around and slander and put down Jews and put out anti-Semitic information. So what do you think of that, Todd?
Well, I looked up the etymological roots of his last name, and it's Coptic Egyptian. So he claims that the rest of his family are white as can be, but he just happened to be brown.
He just happens to be brown, and he just happens to speak Arabic and be Muslim. How about that, huh? And that's his own LinkedIn page. Huh. Yeah, that's it. That's his own LinkedIn page. There you go, folks. That's one of the guys. He's probably Darth Larper in the audience, I suspect. At least one of those guys. But, it's like, here he is, on his Facebook page. He's got the Palestinian flag flying here. This is the whole agenda, the Islamic apologetics that we've been exposing since January with Lloyd and with you. But now, we have confirmation of this. We also, you want to get into some of the lifetime actors that you want to touch on those? You discovered those. I don't want to take your steam,
Oh, man. Which one?
All right. Well, why don't we start with Jesse Slops, or what's his real name? His real name is Jesse Spotswood Moorfield.
Yeah.
What do you think of that one?
Well, what I think about these people is the reason why I want to bring them up is so that everyone can see that this is an all fronts attack on like the Hate America crew. They're trying to. This is it. There's a legitimate psychological operation happening here in America. We're 9 years away from the end of the Muslim Brotherhood's plan. The fourth step, as Lloyd taught us, is a political and economic dominance. And
Right.
so, what do we see? What do we see right now in the UN? The UN passes a resolution and calls Israel the only women haters in the world.
Right.
And also, what are they trying to do?
That there was that Islamic former, she's an Islamic apostate on Facebook earlier today, talking about how suppressive Islam is toward women. But of course, you know, there's 60 Islamic countries, and they don't want to mention any of those. And of course, Islam has control of the UN, as Lloyd is exposed.
Right. So they're showing us now. They're flexing their muscles and letting the world know. I mean, what we got 3 new Islamic Congress people or whatever, 2, whatever, and what we saw was that these Muslims they moved into an area and became the dominant voting bloc, and so they got their candidate. This is an all fronts attack on us, people. The truther movement that these people are claiming to be a part of, like Adam Green,
Jesse Spotswood Moorfield,
Jesse Spots,
Handsome
Matthew
Truth,
Warner.
or John Menadeo,
Right,
Chris Weiner, to all of these guys.
As far as I can tell, they just hate America, either because they hate Israel, so therefore they hate America, or they just plain hate America.
Hey, you know,
and I was the Dashing Rogue sent me a very interesting link today about a KGB agent, and this guy said that the number one way to recruit someone to the KGB was really easy because it was American hatred. There are lots of people in the world that hate America, and he said, especially in the UN and in the Middle East.
Wow. So go ahead.
So the KGB has been working with Islam, I think, since they learned their mistake in Afghanistan.
I'd agree with that fully. Hey, everybody out there, welcome to the show tonight. We're going to be exposing some LARPers and some dirty players and whatnot. What I want to do is, Jesse Spotswood Moorfield has a little bit of a power trip, and he's running a hustle. You know, he was in Hustle and Flow, but let's just look at this Lifetime actor here. This is from a movie that he did. And that's him right there walking in the door, right there. So there's our Jesse Spotswood Moorfield right there, who goes by, Jesse Spots. He is an actor. And John Menadeo, Handsome Truth. What are the chances of a Muslim and 2 Hollywood actors, a Muslim banker and real estate broker, agent, whatnot, and 2 Hollywood actors going and starting the GDL together?
It seems pretty clear that what I really want to make clear to people is we are swimming in a psychological warfare program that a lot of people are buying into, and if we don't spread the word about what the real deal is, because the information that Lloyd presented in the last 2 shows they're breathtaking facts that I don't see anyone really talking about, either in the alt media. You don't see anybody talking about it, or in the media or the alt media.
In the so-called truth movement that's filled with liars and lifetime actors and whatnot. That's why I've never associated myself with the so-called truth movement. I've always associated myself with the Trivium, and whatever I focus my attention and research on, if I have to admit that I'm wrong and change directions, I've always done that in the 11 years since I started the show. And people get really upset about that, but that's the way it is. Here is John Minadeo as the actor in the 2011 film Vampire. And let's see if I can get another one of these up here. There's another one. You can see it's the exact same nose despite the hair change and the glasses. That's definitely him. Same eyebrows, same nose, same chin, etc. But he's admitted that he's an actor, and and so these guys flipped out when I had Halsey English on several months ago, when Halsey English had been investigating Tom Stayer's organization called Next Gen America, and he had an.
Why don't you pull? Do you have that quote where he says, "I'm willing to spend $100 million to buy the presidency"?
I did not see that, but it's clear that what he is doing is he is buying actors out to go and sell this hate agenda to shut down the right. The goal is to shut down free speech, shut down the Second Amendment. And, of course, when free speech and the Second Amendment are shut down, will be ripe for taking by Islam. And that is the real goal, in my opinion. They have to get the guns away because they don't want people fighting this stuff. But Samaria Salazar working with, she is there working with Patrick Little, John Minadeo, Baked Alaska, Augustus Invictus. And as Halsey English had exposed, they were hiring actors to overthrow the election in Virginia and to get rid of the conservative governor of Virginia there. And so they had this guy running around doing fake stuff, pretending that he was the governor for weeks out there in Virginia, and he constantly was getting stopped by police and stuff for what he was doing. But this was all part of the scam that they were running,
Yeah, and Baked Alaska is another failed movie actor. And Augustus Invictus, well, he sacrificed a goat and drank its blood. And he admits to it. So you can look that up.
Yeah, and ironically, another failed rapper as far as Baked Alaska, correct?
Oh, is that what it is? Failed musician.
Well, actor or musician, just like Minadeo is an actor and a... well, we'll have to look into that. Here's Baked Alaska here, the fake conservative here. But anyway, so people can look up these guys, John Minadeo, who goes by Handsome Truth or Shooby Doo-Wop, Jesse Spots, who's actually Jesse Spotswood Moorfield. That's his actor, name, etc. But, he was born in Knoxville, Tennessee. His real name, Jesse Spotswood Moorfield. He's known for his work on the 25th Hour, Hustle and Flow, and Power Trip. So, actors who are...
Oh, yeah. I get... Oh, man. So the Power Trip movie, this is really great because Jesse's role in it is to cuck some other guy.
Right.
And then this other guy, this meteor falls down from the sky and gives him magical powers. I mean... Meteorites that fall from the sky. Rocks that fall from the sky, guys. Does that sound like something?
It's just a coincidence that he's an actor and that you have multiple actors in the GDL, along with a Muslim, all promoting Name the Jew and Jewish hate speech and misdirection, attacking us, attacking Lloyd for 8 months now for daring to begin to expose Islam. And when you begin to piece all of this together, you can understand what's going on there. And of course, the people who are supporting the GDL at the lower levels, they're dupes. And then Jesse has another channel called Jesse's Experiment, ironically. And the former guest on here, Steve Outram, in my opinion, appears to be funding and helping to organize all of this stuff. And he uses quite a number of different fake accounts down here. Nathan Stoltman may be involved in this stuff, but all of these people are tied in. They have a whole bunch of sock accounts that they use, and this is just some of them. They've got many, many dozens more, but all of these people are probably 8 or 10 original people hiding behind, several hundred fake accounts and going around and spreading hate speech. And then they attack anyone who exposes this. They'll go on, Dr. Michael Brown's channel. Michael Brown is a converted Christian, and of course they hate him for exposing what he has, but, they don't want anything exposed about them.
No,
we have, it looks like we have even some, it looks like Matthew North is probably the inquisitor in the chat. Matthew North does good work. No, he actually doesn't. He's doing the same thing. This is a clown that goes to Trump rallies and screams Jew, 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 and you can find these videos on his channel. I should have never had the guy on my show. But, it's, what they're playing a misdirection, and they want everybody only focused on Judaism while all of this stuff is going on with Islam. And, we've already exposed all of this stuff for months now. We've done 15, 16 shows now exposing all of this. So if you're still caught in that whole thing, you need to start waking up, go back and review that series. And then, here we go. What about Fomenko? Okay, we're not denying that history has been changed. What you dimwits need to understand, and we've tried to explain this several hundred times already, is that what we're basing this on is the last 400 years of primary documentation and their own books that anyone with half a brain cell, excluding you, Baha Mali, can go and open their books and fact check. And that may be, Caleb hiding behind that one. But, we've already exposed all of this. We've already said, look, we're based on whatever is happening now. We can't go back and show, what history really was. As much as Fomenko wants to try it, it could have just as easily as been the Caliphate and the Muslims who altered history. And then you have these...
Well, what about the CIA document that admits that the KGB destroyed thousands of historical records concerning Tartary?
Absolutely, they did.
Yeah,
and here's the thing: there is something going on, and it could just as easily be the Duganite KGB Islamists as it could be, and the Sabbateans are also crypto Islamists. But I'm only interested in the facts they present. Look, you people can't fact check Fomenko's research in Russian that he gets out of university archives in Moscow and whatnot. Not one of these people has fact checked Fomenko's research. It's all an appeal to Fomenko. Rather than appealing to Fomenko, how about, which is a secondary source, how about cracking open the texts yourself and reading them? We've been showing what the Muslim texts say since January, and you people can't clue in. It's just, it's ridiculous. Like this Inquisitor guy and Baha Mali guy. I mean, it's like, come on. And obvious, and Daniel Ritter has it right. Does Matthew North have the secret Talmud? No, none of them do. We've asked them for months to present it. Of course, none of them do. You can go through the Talmud quotes yourself. They faked them all. All but one are faked.
And regarding Chabad, okay, Chabad is 2% or less of the entire Jewish population. So I don't really want to hear about Chabad.
See, listen to the look. Last week's show, Reese. Maybe you're a little bit slow. Maybe under 85 IQ there. Last week's show, we went into where and who was exactly funding the money. Islam was paying in 47 times more money than Israel. 47 times. Try to get that into your heads. We showed the banking. We showed the funding into the universities. We showed the propaganda money. And you guys are still going, the Jewish conspirators have unlimited money for the authors of the radio hosts to misdirect their crimes. The Catholic Church and the Jesuits are favorite targets, you know. Oh, my goodness. It makes my head hurt. See, now he's trying to say, 4.0 GPS, Jan, how about you? You know, it's like, wow.
Well, see,
no matter.
Look at this new line that they're using here. Okay, so during this week, I listened to some Catholic casts to see what's up with the traditionalist Catholic folks who don't like their Jesuit Pope, and what do I find there? I find there a bunch of Owen Benjamin bears and GDL. How you can tell a GDL online is when they start throwing these 3 little parentheses around keywords that they have to say. It's like their neat little secret language to each other. It's really dumb, but if you ever want to see a GDL online, know for sure that when they got those 3 little parentheses, that's them. And they're just flooding this traditionalist Catholic comment section live stream with just horrible anti-Semitic stuff. And so the new focus is like, well, we've got some Catholics here in our audience that are appreciating what we have to say. So now they're coming after you guys. So now they're gonna spin their pro-Catholic thing that's saying, oh, the nasty Jew is making the Catholic Church bad. You need to hate them because, you know, E. Michael Jones.
Oh, my God. These people are so slow. They can't get it. Okay, so, you know, let's say, for instance, that the evil Jews created Islam. That's the conspiracy that these dimwits believe. And, you know, the Muslims are all victims of everyone else, and they're just poor brown people with box cutters living in caves. Never mind, we've exposed that whole agenda as false for months. And here, Chip, what about the Rothschilds? What about E. Michael Jones? What about all these secondary citations that I've never fact-checked? Oh, my God, what about? Oh, my God, people. So for the last 400 years, let's say we can open up a Quran and check what they actually believe today. Let's say we can study the Hadith, Tafsir, etc., and understand what they believe today for the last several hundred years. And as far as we can tell, it checks out going back into history at least several hundred years, okay? Let's say we can check it back to at least 1600. Okay, this is what is going on today. It doesn't matter what your appeal to flamenco says. It doesn't matter what E. Michael Jones says, whom you've never fact-checked. It doesn't matter what Heikel Moffman says, whom you've never fact-checked. These guys all cite fake Talmud quotes that we've repeatedly shown as fake. You know, and these guys have the fake Goyim Defense League. And it's, one of the founding members was Muslim Albert Bashai. We've shown how that is the Islamic agenda, and he's one of the admitted founding members of the GDL. You know, he's a Muslim. He speaks Arabic. He's,
He pushes a revisionist history of Germany and the Holocaust along with Handsome Truth. They both deny that it happened.
And then they call for it to happen. Now they're inciting people to commit murder and genocide.
So let's read him that let's not forget Michael.
So look at this idiot Reese here. Okay, so we already did a whole show on the slave trade. England did the opium trade. Islam is heavily involved in opium trade. The Fed, see, these are these hate America dimwits. They have the highest standard of living, but the evil Jews and the loans that they take out that they willingly sign themselves are somehow the Jews' fault. The slaughter of 1.5 million Armenian Christians by the Muslim Turks. Oh my God.
And the monetary system, did you guys know that we fought the Revolutionary War over the right to be able to have fiat money? does that register with any of you? It's called I forget. It's like the Colonial Script Act of 1733 or some crazy stuff. And it's directly after that they made all paper money illegal, and the king only took gold and silver for taxes. So it drained the economies of all gold and silver, and then everyone lost their job.
So, this guy, Daniel, see, all of these people are in the chat right now are pretending that we haven't done 16 shows exposing all of this already. So it's all total nonsense here. They're just using misdirection. But let's just go into the Talmud. So we've already shown the citations. If you guys want to see how leftists all the red pill crowd is, just ask for a citation to verify Talmud quotes. So let's go into the Talmud. Ladies and gentlemen, we've already done this many times. I'll get this paper done. But so here, Talmud. Here's the document. And so here we go. Terrible Talmud versus the Cuddly Quran. We can start going through each of these citations. Here's the claims, here's all of these lies that are spread by the neo-Nazis and the Islamists and all the terrorist hate groups. Abadiah Zerah, 22a, 22b, Gentiles prefer sex with cows, and then you can go through and you can read what it actually says. You can read it here. We can pull up the Talmud and what it actually says. It's not rocket science. People if you guys have ever fact-checked a citation in your life, it's really that easy to go and fact-check stuff. And we can see here's the citation, 22b here, so you can fact-check that I've actually quoted it exactly. Gemaria with regard to assumption. And if you don't like that, you can take the Hebrew here and you can open up your Chrome browser, and then you would just right-click it and click Translate. So it's not like rocket scientists. There's no secret Talmud. And actually, this Sefaria Talmud version is considered the most complete with anything taken out of it. There aren't any omissions in this version. You can, what they'll do is they'll find one little line like, even the best of Gentiles should be killed, like this one here. And so if we go down and we actually look at what it says, we can see that they've taken it dramatically out of context. Here, let's pull this one up. Here it is right here. And then you can actually read the actual text. And so what they'll do is they'll cite one single little line. See, this is all legalese. These are all legal discussions. And so what you have to do is realize that one person says one thing, and then the next rabbi says the next, and the next rabbi says the next, and the next rabbi says the next, and on and on and on until they come to a conclusion. But what these dimwits and these terrorist hate groups do is they take one little line out of context, like they'll cite one little line like this, and then they'll say, see, oh my God, it's the most evil book in the world. And, so what they have to do is they have to lie. But the interesting and ironic thing that I found when doing this paper is I started comparing all of the fake quotes that are claimed of Judaism. I started looking in the Islamic texts, and I immediately started finding the real ones in the Islamic texts. In fact, in 2 days, I was able to verify 75% of them in the Islamic text, and in 3 months of looking, I was only able to verify one. So that's a 1.6% verified accuracy regarding the Talmud, but I was able to verify 75% of these in Islamic texts. So why aren't these nut jobs in the chat who scream Jew, 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 etc., why aren't they worried about that? Because they're GDL, and the GDL is an Islamic front group funded by Tom Steyer and the Obama administration, etc. And,
Maybe Steve.
Yep, possibly Steve. And, so they want to cover up all of this information. So,
I want to address Inquisitor here real quick.
And then we're probably going to
all
need to
your
block the guy because he's just
BS.
chasing
Yeah.
his. We've already
This
done
is the last
16
thing.
shows on this, and if they still can't catch up, they're a little bit lacking in the intellect
You're
department.
not going to come over here and tell us about Adam Green and No More News. No, you're not going to.
We've already been fact checking their work and their spin and whatnot.
Rocks. So hey, all those quotes from all those rabbis and everything that Adam Green does, those rabbis have no followers. Nobody follows them. Nobody. Like Chabad, less than 2%, 2% of the Jewish community. Nothing. Okay, nothing. Those other weirdo rabbis he quotes, no followers. The Third Temple people, you can see them online and do their ceremonies, and you can see how many people are there. 20.
So look what we need to get Dashing Rogue on the show too.
Of it, like the Jews are clamoring for a Third Temple. It's BS, nonsense, a lie. These are whacked out, weird, like.
It's like less than 1%. It's like less than 1% or something, isn't it?
Exactly. So I don't want to hear about them anymore. Shut up.
So Dashing Rogue says, Jan, the shill need to post their post to make their 50 cent per post like the Water Army, 50 cent brigade, that they are put your money where your mouth. So what Dashing Rogue is saying is that they get paid 50 cents for every troll post that they make. So, and we've already done, 15, 16 shows exposing all of this stuff. So, I mean, if you guys still can't figure it out, you either need to go back and rewatch all the shows since January or go take an IQ test.
Well, at this point, everyone who's going to probably figure it out has figured it out. And anyone who keeps coming back here to just spout go watch Adam Green and No More News. He's got primary citations.
He's
got a primary citations from probably like rabbis who are crypto Muslims,
Sabbateans or whatever, right?
On the fringes of Jewish society, living out there, just making Jews look dumb, as always.
And so what they do is they find these fringe quotes, and then they push that stuff out there. Ryan Dawson is another one.
And they give the impression like it's this big, wide movement.
Yeah, Brendan O'Connell, etc. And Brendan O'Connell lived in Iran. Talk about another, very possibly crypto, Muslim. So, it's like. God, this guy, Justin, just block Inquisitor. He's going nowhere fast. We've already put the research out. If he can't figure it out, then, he needs to.
Yeah, I don't want to.
He needs to eat a bowl of alphabet soup and choke on the D.
See, so the new tactic from the psychological warfare that this channel is enduring at the moment is now they've decided they're going to ignore us. They won't mention Jan's name on their podcasts anymore. They're gonna try and make us go away.
Right.
We found a hill and we got a pair of binoculars and we were like, whoa, the army's on the way. We better entrench this position. So we entrenched our position pretty darn well. And all of their lemmings that came, we beat them all up. They got a morale hit, and so now it's only their key guys over here just keeping a scouting position on our hill here.
Yeah.
So the problem is that we are on a hill, but they're marching around us now because they can't deal with the facts. All they have is sophistry and repetition.
Right now all they're doing is repeating the same points that we debunked like 6 months ago. They've got no new tactics at this point. It's just it's just rehashing the same duh over and over.
Well, I mean, trolling is like the magic for really dumb people. Like if you just commit to it hardcore enough, eventually your repetition will have a psychological effect on people who aren't paying attention. So.
And how these people get lured into all of this, and you and I were both guilty of this too. I mean, you and I both fell for this whole thing, but how they get you is by not fact-checking the citations. And as soon as you go in and you start fact-checking, that's when you can tell who's the fraud and who isn't. So, as soon as we started exposing Islam and started fact-checking the Talmud, that's when they started freaking out, and they've been spreading these fake Talmud quotes around since the 1890s, 1891 or 1892, and we start going in and fact-checking them, and then, all of a sudden you start realizing it's fake. Like a genteel girl who is 3 years old in a day can be violated. That's not what it says at all. What it's talking about is if a girl is molested and it happened when she was under 3 years in a day, when she gets older and gets married, she gets full dowry, and she's considered a virgin when she gets married in adulthood. That's what it's talking about. It doesn't say anything about how they can be violated, you morons. And, and then, but you can go in and you can compare Islam, like Muhammad married a 6-year-old and then had sex with her when she turned 9, right here. So, Aisha, while she was 6 years old, and consummated his marriage with her when she was 9. So you guys will sit here and call the Jews pedophiles, but ignore the easily verifiable quotes in Islam. You have to fake quotes in Judaism, and then you have to ignore the quotes in Islam. There's the Arabic. Here's the freaking primary, people, right on their own website. Just so you know, I didn't make it up. We're showing the citations here. That's how you know if somebody's telling the truth or not. You fact check. Rather than regurgitating your secondhand sources, Professor E. Michael Jones says, Michael Hoffman says, this person says, that person says.
Okay,
screw what the secondary citations say and go to the primaries. Here's Aisha speaking for herself. Allah's apostle married me when I was 6 years old, and I was admitted to his house when I was 9. In other words, he had sex with her. The marriage was consummated when she was 9. That is a pedophile.
And come on, Epstein okay. So why don't you go look up Bill Clinton and the Sultan of Brunei on the Lolita Express? Like, what's the Sultan?
What they do is they'll say, Jeffrey Epstein's last name sounds Jewish, so he must be Jewish, and therefore, in Orthodox Judaism, if somebody is no longer, Orthodox, if they leave the religion, they're no longer considered Jewish. But you have these half-wits who look up someone's name and they don't care if they're an atheist or whatever. If it's, if the name sounds similar, they say, they're Jewish. As far as we know, Epstein was a crypto-Islamist. He ran Pedophile Island, and you can read their own text promoting pedophilia. So, it's like, so Reese is like, Epstein isn't Jewish. If you want to know what Jews believe, why don't you read the Old Testament and then see what Old Testament Jews believe and how they're supposed to behave and their rules of behavior, and then ask yourself again, and read the Talmud for that matter, and ask yourself again if he's Jewish. Because if he's not following the rules of Judaism, he's probably not Jewish. I know that's probably beyond your conceptual grasp there, Reese, but, you can put this stuff together.
You got to be following the Sabbath at the very least to be a nominal Jew.
Right? And it's like somebody who's an atheist, they're Jewish because of their last name, and it's like, oh my God. Or there's Sabbatean Jews who are actually crypto Muslims. And,
or that, the whole name switching thing that they're always saying that the Jews do. Like, okay. So if the Jews can do it, does that mean that they really are the Supermen of the world and nobody else knows how to do what the Jew knows how to do? Are you agreeing with them?
You mean
that they're Supermen and they do everything better than us and they're just taking us to town? So what you're doing is you're proving them supposedly right that they're the super people.
Super people, right? It's like, they control everything, and then you must be stupid. That's the obvious implication that you guys all miss. And meanwhile, in Islam, they have taqiyya, which we've exposed many times, which gives them permission straight up to lie, just like Albert Bashai claims that his father was a Christian minister or whatever, and then you can see that he speaks Arabic, and he's a Muslim, probably from Egypt, and he's using blatant taqiyya to lie and to tell people, lies. I wouldn't be surprised if Goy Mob or whatever he's changed his name to these days is another one of these crypto guys that, who fakes. Here's the thing is, if you read what the New Testament says, none of those guys are behaving like Christians. You don't go around and spread lies and encourage hate and encourage, mass shootings and, and whatnot. And who was it? Why don't you mention, was that you that found that citation about the book on the Nazis, or was that Lloyd?
That was Lloyd.
Lloyd had found a book, and
real quick, let's change. Let's get a little topic change here, because Steven was saying he wants this to be the last show on Islam. Really? Okay. I guess we're still feeling kind of dumbstruck, and honestly, our society is in serious peril as far as our analysis is concerned. So, what would you like to see us do, Steven? Like, what should we do insteid?
We should.
How do we go from here? Because
they want us to talk about how the 16
throttled by YouTube.
Yeah, I've been throttled, demonetized. We've had teams of LARPers harassing us
we have like gang stalkers here every single week.
So why don't you guys put your money where your mouth is, Stephen Wells, and why don't you donate several $100s to your topic of choice, and we'll try to cover that in the coming weeks. How's that? Anyone? Any takers?
So no, it's not like that. But like, where can we go from here? We've identified a serious threat, a serious psychological warfare campaign is being waged against us right now. It doesn't appear that a whole lot of people understand the threat. So where do we go from here? Like, we feel like we circled our wagons here on our little hill of the Trivium, and we've been shooting our howitzer-sized cannon of truth their way and loading it as fast as we can. We are feeling a bit, battle weary, and we don't have a whole lot of people helping out with the research. Some people have, and it's been really awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. Thank you, Dashing Rogue, etc., who've stepped up to the plate and started helping out. We really appreciate it, and that's another point is we're gonna create a new research and study group and ask those of you who are actually woke. We're gonna create. It'll be paid to help try to keep out some of these trolls, but we're going to create a study group so that people can contribute and also get more out of it, and fact check things, and help with the research and be able to know for themselves that the work is valid, and that teach people how to fact check citations and whatnot. Most people use a second or third hand citation and they think that's primary.
Right, and and then you can see what.
Oh my God! Look at this. Does all this info you put out put you in conflict with the ideas of the work of E. Michael Jones? I mean, didn't we just cover that for like the last 15 minutes? Well, E. Michael Jones says, and I never fact checked his work, so he must be God. I mean, it's like I need a brick wall to beat my head against because these people aren't getting it. Reese Yan debate. Yeah, Reese can't even check the stains in his shorts, much less check a citation.
That's cool. Well, let's that's fine. Send Jan an email.
Yeah, send me the email and the research, and if you guys can actually create a valid argument against the primary citations, the 32 hours worth and over 1,000 that Lloyd and Todd have both laid out, and myself as well, with the Talmud material, as well as going through and checking everything in the Islamic quotes. Make shows on Islam and call it 1001 Arabian Fights.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we got on our hands, boys.
Thanks, Dashing
Seriously.
Rogue, for the
That's-
super chat. By the way, throw up super chats,
Poetic.
guys. Jan sounds very juvenile with his constant name calling and childish insults. Dude, Reese, you go round and round in circles. Go
Hey.
back and watch the last 15 shows and catch up. I mean, it's like, dude, I've
Hey,
seen
man,
you in the
Albert
chats
Bashai
enough
called
times.
him Spawn of Judas Iscariot. It doesn't get any lower than that.
Right.
Okay?
And all these guys
don't wanna
call
hear
me a
about it.
sellout. They're all trolls. They're all lifetime actors trying to, derail things. That's why we're just doing an easy conversational show tonight and just, making fun of these people. Jan sounds angry. You sound like a pitiful person who needs help. Okay, yeah, Thomas Tyson. I wonder, which fraud GDL person is hiding behind that account.
Just keep noticing. Look how these people talk. These are not sincere people. This is
look, here we go.
program.
Here's another fake account, folks. They all got the fake sock accounts.
So I want to really make it real to you guys. Look, you can't the Wild West of YouTube's over in a way.
Freedom of speech is over.
And now we're in a new age where only apparently hate America, pro-Islamic, pro-drug,
and pro kill Jews is allowed.
Yeah, they can all do their thing. I mean, Handsome Truth is getting all of this
Ryan
stuff
says
shut down,
Ryan Jones says we should ignore the stupid comments. We're actually just here to have a easy conversation today, and we don't mind discussing the comments. Hey, Brian, thank you so much. Brian's been around for a long time. Always good to see you pop up in the chats, Brian. And for those of you who've been here for years, we're going to create a group. It'll probably be called the Kafir Defense League. We can actually, put things back upright, and we'll use real research and citations. And, whereas the GDL doesn't, use any real research and citations, they use spin, and Adam Green had, secret clearance, et cetera. He used to work for the Defense Department down in San Diego, but he says it was only so that he could repair satellites. And then we've got, Muslim Albert Bashai, who's, speaks Arabic and works in the banking industry in New York. And then, they put out hate speech about bankers and whatnot when he's a banker, huh? And then we've got Jesse Spotswood Moorfield, who is an actor, which we showed on screen earlier. Here's, Jesse has acted in at least 3 films. Here's his real name, Jesse Spotswood Moorfield. He worked in 25th Hour, Hustle and Flow, and Power Trip. And, we've got, and I'm just kind of rehashing some of this, but we've got John Menadeo, who is an actor as well that we showed earlier. There's John Menadeo as an actor in the 2011 film Vampire.
It's all a big distraction, guys.
It's
the only
reason they're actors.
With it, the reason why we're engaging with it
is to help people wake up.
So you see, we want you to see what's happening here. That we want you to understand that there is a psychological warfare program going on inside the Truther movement where they're doing everything they possibly can to confuse the matter.
See, look at Reese now. Look at Reese's comments now. Now you know for sure he's a GDL, which, we don't know which clown he is yet because they all hide behind fake accounts. Jan used to put out good information. He's apparently made a deal with the dark side. So putting out facts like actual citations that any intelligent human being other than Reese can fact check like these means that I've sold out to the dark side. And see, what their idea is anyone who isn't attacking Jews all the time, without exception, sold out. So if you go in and you actually check the citations and look things up and prove that they're lies, that means you sold out. Never mind that that's what the show has been about, following the Trivium for a decade now. That's what we have always done. He says, you are clearly an agent of misdirection now. No, Reese, that's what you are. You are the fool hiding behind the fake troll account, posting LARPing crap on the channel.
Word,
5 subscribers, typical troll sock puppet account here. You know, that's what these guys are paid to do, and he's probably getting paid 50 cents for every LARP post he makes there. You know, so these guys all do the same stuff. They all have the same tactics. You know, they take like a, you know, it's like you know, these customer service reps, you know, when you call up like the phone company or whatever, and they have a list of talking points that they walk through. That's what these people are do. You know, they couldn't pass muster in the intellectual world. And so, you know, now he's claiming that he hosts his own show. I was just on your channel, dude. You don't host anything. But, and thank you, Kevin Carr, for the support there. But, you know, that is what they do. They're like customer service reps. They repeat the exact same talking points over and over and over. They will not ever, you know, if they do show the Talmud on screen, what they'll do is they'll show one little line from one paragraph. Let's pull that up again. Where's the
hi there, question what you fear. I love your leading question yet again.
Yeah, so, you know, what they'll do is they'll take one paragraph or a couple lines out of context and they'll say, see, it's there. And then they'll ignore all of the discussion about it. And that's how these people play. They are extremely dishonest. They're using Takia.
It's sophistry.
Yeah, it's sophistry. It's Takia, and they're selling an agenda. And, of course, they have to spin that I sold out when they are the ones who actually did. Go ahead, mods. You can ban Reese. He's not participating intelligently.
Yeah, enough of that. Chuckle.
So, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to start changing gears here in the coming months, and we're going to start, you know, so what is appearing after doing all of this research is that there is about a 5 to 10 year timeline that they're trying to implement right now to, you know, to kill off the kafir, essentially. And Lloyd's, we exposed it in Lloyd's show, the 2 shows ago on the Muslim Brotherhood, the entire agenda, and he's been searching out this 5-part plan that they have. They're in stage 4 of this plan right now. Are you denying Jewish domination? We've already look. See, they're creating fake accounts right now and coming back in. Yeah, we've already done 15 shows showing that you people are liars and trying to distract people from Islam. The 1.8 billion Islamists, brown people with box cutters, and you want us focused on the 14.5 to 16 million Jews, and we've already shown the finances and everything else. So, kick rocks. Justin, you can ban Lucifer right there, Lucid, whatever.
Yeah, we're the face of the new Inquisition. That's right. Well,
see, really, look, it's another fake account. All of these fake sock accounts have 3 subscribers too. Right. It's always the same.
What we need, people, is a new McCarthyian era. Okay, we need to go back to the 50s and kind of like redo that episode over again where we kick all the Reds out. So, I mean, here's hoping. Here's hoping that we can manage that because it's what's needed. It's time to clean house. So I hope that all of you understand that this is not just a little subversion. This is a big subversion. They are controlling the UN now. They own a ton of the Fed. Their banking industry
they own Twitter.
America alone is worth $4 trillion.
They own Twitter.
Well, they used to.
No, Lloyd showed last week that they own Twitter. Prince.
Yeah, but that guy ended up going to jail. He sold all his shares and went to jail.
Did he?
But he did own Twitter. So I'm just saying, there is a fund called One Fund from, Saudi Arabia, and they have spent billions in Silicon Valley. I don't know what else more to say to you people.
Yeah, Stephen Moss.
The numbers were all made clear.
Last week, Stephen Moss, we showed the Fed numbers on screen of who owns what. and the Islamic countries own way more than Israel. What was Israel at, like 31 on the list?
Yeah, 31, 32.
And way, 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 way down the list compared to the Islamic countries and a lot of other countries. So I think China was number one, and they had way more investment into the Fed. So, you guys just repeat this stuff without fact checking. But Stephen, please go back and watch last week's show. We showed all of the financial investments on screen, and you guys can check all of that stuff.
Right. So what I want to do next really is what we got to understand is that the communism, Islam, and Russian Orthodoxy have, they've joined together. That's what this Eurasian Union thing is, and Duganism.
Duganism,
and by
exactly.
The way, hey, just so y'all know, I'm going to be on the Dashing Road Show on Sunday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we're gonna have a little powwow about Dugan, see what we can learn from each other. Come join us.
Good grief, man! And by the way, the Handsome Truth's one of his songs even straight up mentions that they're following Dugan's playbook. So it's like it's right there. It's in.
Yeah, this is the program.
The Nazis
perfected by the KGB.
Right. The neo-Nazis and the GDL tools that are below Bashai, Handsome Truth, and Jesse Spotswood Moorfield, and Chris Weinert and these people, all of the people below them, they are the tools that are being used by the KGB. They are the fools that are, spreading all the hate to get free speech shut down. That is the agenda. And then you have
it just creates chaos.
Yeah, it's to create it's chaos magic.
Else, if they really achieved nothing meaningful, what they did was they distracted 100,000 people.
Yes, Chip, useful idiots.
What's happening?
So so they're the useful idiots at the bottom, and then you have what would be next. You got Islam, and then probably Russia at the top. But Islam has more money than Russia, so maybe the Islamists are at the top. But the Islamic texts, as we've shown in the primary citations that we put on screen in the 15 or 12 shows with Lloyd, 15, 16 shows total with Todd's also, is that these texts call for doing this behavior. And so, and then Lloyd showed last week the money investments per country, who's got the money invested in each one. Yeah, and so don't miss last week's show. Those of you who keep regurgitating the Jews own and control the banks and the feds and all this stuff, it's debunked. We already debunked it last week. Stop with the narrative. What's happening is people are getting sucked into this GDL hate narrative, and people are repeating things that they've never personally fact-checked, and you have to start using the trivium. I put out the trivium 10 years ago for people to learn how to fact-check stuff, and they're not doing it.
And honestly, the GDL is just kind of the certain cell that's been set after us, but their operation is much bigger. I mean, you can clearly see it by what's going on at the UN. You can clearly see it by, the what is it? The BDS movement, the bind, divest, sanction, whatever the heck it is of Israel. They're making them put Jew stars on their products. Guys, the UN's considering putting Jew stars on Jewish Israeli products. Does that ring any bells? Like, a Jew star on the storefront? Do you on the arm? Doesn't that worry any of you?
I saw that the other day too. Someone sent that to me. And so, thoughts on the big USSR leakers, Golitsyn, Solzhenitsyn, Suvorov, and Bukovsky. Have you studied those yet? The one that I really like, who lays it all out, is, oh my goodness, what's that one? The former KGB guy that comes out and lays out everything. I always forget his name.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's got a lot of really good information.
Alberto.
No.
No.
In fact, I just asked Lloyd his name yesterday, and I've already forgotten it. Let's see. Let me see if I have him under KGB. Let's see. Yuri Bezmenov.
What the, Steven, what is going on, bro? What do you mean the Saudi family's actually being Jewish?
Dude, we've already debunked all that. Go back and watch the whole series of shows.
Always been cool. What's going on, Steve?
I don't know. It's like, yeah. Oh, dude, Steve, give that narrative up. You know, have you ever personally fact-checked that? Have you personally ever fact-checked that? It was in a recent video, he says. Okay, did you fact-check the video, or did you just repeat it without fact-checking it? Jesse Spots got to him. His real name is Jesse Spotswood Moorfield. He uses a fake, he uses a pseudonym, a nom de plume. So
anyway, yeah. So send us your suggestions too, like what you want to see going on. Send us
in the next, in the next few months.
Set up so you can come join us and learn about the water we're all swimming in.
He says he didn't say believed it. I know I've heard some info on the Saudi family actually being Jewish. Well, why did you post it without a caveat if you're now claiming you don't believe it?
Well, it's all right. It's fine.
So, I mean, we all fell for this nonsense. Here's the thing is what it's designed to do is make the poor Muslims look like victims all the time. Oh my God, we have to rush in and give the humanitarian aid and, they're poor victims and they're not responsible for any, they're brown people with box cutters living in caves, Todd. We have to go run and help them.
Some of them are lucky,
they live in caves?
They have,
and even though they own the most super yachts and have the highest buildings in the world, they're poor brown people living in caves and they have box cutters. And they don't even have AK-47s anymore. No Kalashnikovs. Oh my God!
It's just fascinating. It's just fascinating how the way that these people talk. They really must believe that they're supermen. That these people are the super Jew.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's being able to do everything, control everyone's mind, do everything bad.
Thanks, Lillian Lopez. So, here's the thing is if ask yourself anytime you come across all of this type of information, is it painting the poor brown Muslims as poor victims of the whole world and the Jews in the Vatican and, oh my God, we got to go save them? If that's what you're believing and if that's what you're getting lured into, stop for a second and go, oh my God, wait, it's total crap. I get it now. Because that is the narrative. That's the humanitarian agenda that they're trying to sell. And we showed that imam on screen during the series with Lloyd, discussing how they're using all of this, humanitarian stuff. So if you're still falling for that, you got to, back out of that belief system. Here, I'm just trying to find that post here. Let's see if I can find it. And come on. Anyway, I'll have to try to find it later. It's buried somewhere, but I know I have it somewhere here in the citations. Here, let me see if I can find it in the database. It gets, the whole thing about them being, poor victims. 1.8 billion Muslims are the poor victims of 14.5 million Jews, and they have no money, and they don't have $4 trillion in their banks in the U.S., and they only have box cutters and caves. Talk about racist bullshit. They're the poor victims. It's total racist bullshit. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Look, Steve, it's all right. Nobody here is perfect, okay? Nobody here is perfect. But what we have to understand is what is happening right now, okay? I'm going to repeat myself. The UN just declared that the only women haters in the whole world are Israel because of what they do to the Palestinians. Okay. Those Muslim there's 54 countries in that thing that signed that document that said that only Israel is woman haters, and then out of those 54, there were 42 of them were Muslim countries.
No irony there. It's just like in your face.
Okay. Right. And now we've got them in our government.
Oh, wait. Here's a good one. While I'm looking for that other one, here's a Muslim scholar admitting why pedophilia is okay in Islam. Of course, you don't hear Albert Bashayan, the GDL apologist, talking about this stuff. But search this out online. Canadian Muslim scholar explains why pedophilia is okay in Islam. And then you start to realize why they're trying to normalize pedophilia in the U.S., the left. We gotta, pedophiles, they're just poor victims. They're born that way.
They're people too.
They're people too. They don't deserve to have double-aught bucks shoved up their rear ends and the trigger pulled. They're people. Oh God.
Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna get into Dugan again. I'm gonna learn some stuff from some people.
Oh, dude, here's
Dashing
that.
Rogue.
Here's that. Here's that article, dude. Here's one that you just mentioned. So let me see if I can pull that up here. Come on, there it is. UN condemns Israel as world's only violator of women's rights. Completely ignores Iran and every other Islamic country. But there it is, folks. That's cbnnews.com, and that's from
bring up
that's
the
from
one where
7:30.
they want to put the Jew stars on them.
Oh goodness, where?
Skype.
Yeah, I know, but it's going to be up 50 pages, You know what? I know who sent it to me, so let me see. But I want to find that imam talking about that too, and we showed that before. Oh my goodness, let's see here. Come on, where's that imam one? It's got to be here. Go ahead.
Does anyone here watch Vox and wonder what's going on with that cat? Because he called Judeo-Christianity, you may as well say Satano-Christianity. So I kind of wonder at his language there. What is he on about, right? So I'm just saying this is more than just a bunch of peacocking Lifetime actors, basically.
Well, and remember that clip I sent you guys and I posted on Facebook of Vox Day. He's talking about the $1 million he was given, and then there's somebody in the background that says, "Move on." It's like, so here's that citation. Everyone, please search this. Imam at New Jersey Islamic Center workshop. Palestinian cause is Islamic, but must be marketed as humanitarian to garner everyone's support. Speakers praise BDS, say Israel likely to cease existing within 50 years. So you can listen to this video here and listen to these guys straight up say how they're spinning everything, and they're doing it intentionally. It's called propaganda or public relations, folks, to make Palestine look like a humanitarian issue. But what about all of the poor Palestinians that, all we see is one side of the stuff that Israel does. We don't see all of the bad stuff that Islam does, and most people don't read the Quran and the Hadith, etc., to see how Muslims say straight up that they have to kill every Jew on the face of the earth. So they ignore all of that. But now let me see if I can find that quote, that other page that someone said. I know who sent it, so now I just have to find it. Remind me which one it was again. Sorry.
The Jew star.
Oh, got it. Just found it. Thanks, Grace, for sending this one. And so, Europe poised to put warning labels on Jewish-made products. Okay.
Come on, guys.
You
Jews
get it?
on the storefront.
You get it?
Nazi Germany, guys. Come on.
So, this is all, recent news.
Pushing. And it's to take down Western dominance, okay? That's what they're all about. They want to destroy the Western dominance. They want to destroy the dollar as the world reserve currency. That was established by Bretton Woods.
They want to create a separation between Christianity and Judaism, between the Old Testament and the New Testament. They want to bring in Chrislam. And so what they want to do is all of the free world is based on the Bible. All of the countries that don't have freedom are based on Sharia law. So they want to they want to kill every last Jew to bring in Sharia law. And so that is the goal. And they have to create a division. They have to get people to not read the Old Testament and not understand what it is. So, so that they don't even know what a Jew is. They don't even know what the rules, what, the things that the Old Testament lays out are. And then they go around shouting that anybody by their last name is a Jew,
Well, but they call us Jews and kikes and horrible names all the time, and it's clear that we're not Jewish. And but it won't matter, because it'll just be like, anybody who doesn't think like me is a Jew. I mean, it's going to be real simple. They'll just throw us all in the same pot together.
Right. And and so we're all kafir because we don't support Islam's takeover of things. So we're gonna have to wrap this up here in a few minutes. But is there anything exciting happening?
Oh, what?
Oh, I'm just reading some of the comments there.
Oh, yeah, but guys, please, come on. Send us your suggestions. Send us what you would like to see. Tell us how you see, a research forum looking like. Give us your suggestions. We're suffering from severe censorship. We got semi-pro trolls after us, and we're just trying to break the matrix of mental conditioning of a psychological warfare program,
and we've all fallen prey to it.
100 years.
We've all fallen prey to it, except for the GDL and the neo-Nazis and whatnot that are all behind and promoting that stuff.
They're all perfect men who all have a perfect understanding, and it just means we just have to shoot the Jews into the sun, and then we'll be good.
And then the world will be perfect, and then Sharia can finally take over, and then it'll be a world of peace because, they've killed and subjugated everybody else.
Pretty much. They'll all be in submission. We'll all be slaves to Islam. Hooray! Sounds like a wonderful
And here's another one. Notice the language they always. The Jews are running a bank scam where they ask for taxes on my bank deposit. And, of course, they never have any evidence for these claims, and they always use as broad a generalization as possible. Not these 5 people are running this bank scam. It's the Jews. Never mind that Muslims have been caught running tax scams and whatnot to fund their terrorist cells all over the place.
Their banking industry in America is worth $4 trillion. $4 trillion.
And they have how many times
to pay off our debt, guys?
What was it? 40 some times. The Islamic countries have like 40 some times the investment into the Fed that Israel does. I mean, stop with the stupid lingo. It's like
47 times into
the Jews. All 14 million Jews are running this bank scam. Oh my God, can you believe it? The Jews are super people. And all of them are involved in unison with this bank scam. The Jews, oh my God. And, and the Muslims, they can't do anything. They're brown people with box cutters who live in caves.
Dude, have you guys seen H3H3's the Illuminati conspiracy of the Jew? You should watch that. How he learns for the first time that Jews are control the world. It's hilarious. He's like, "What? I own shares in a bank? What? Where's my magic Jew money? I didn't get any magic Jew money."
Yeah. Hey, Alex, what's going on? Good to see you in the chat there. Alex says, "I'm Jewish. Where's my golden art?"
I don't know, man. You took it all, Alex.
Hey, Alex, are you are you involved in that guy's bank scam? Are you like, because he says the Jews, boom, McLeod. It's probably another stupid troll account. Let's go to this guy's account and check. I bet it's got 3 subscribers. Let's see. Oh, 0 subscribers. See, it's another fake troll account. There it is. See, folks, no content.
You know what? God bless Donald Trump, because Donald Trump made the Fed show its papers to us for the first time. Okay, guys? We never knew before. It was all a big mystery, but now we know. And we went through the numbers and we proved it on the last show with Lloyd. Okay, go watch it. It's there. Trump made it so we can know now. And basically, everyone and their mom owns a piece of the Fed. So the Jews are number 31 or 32. Cut it out. I don't want to hear
Well, that's
anything
just
about it
Israel,
anymore.
yeah. But like China was the number one investor in the Fed, I
Dude,
think.
yeah,
So
it's
kick
number one.
rocks, people, and stop with the stupid conspiracy theories. Fact check your stuff. That's the main point. That's why the best of you, the best and brightest of you, we'd love to have in the research group, and those who are coming along and starting to get it, who are starting to wake up. You are all invited too. But we're going to create a Kafir Defense League, and we're going to start providing real research and start exposing all this stuff. We also want to start, providing, survival information, what people need to do to prepare, and that sort of thing. So we're probably going to see a change in direction with the show over the next few months up to the end of the year and whatnot. Maybe.
And we're open to all your suggestions.
Teach self-defense. I'd like to get Lloyd over to the U.S. again to.
Heck, man. Lloyd's in the martial arts Hall of Fame in South Africa.
And Lloyd is one of the most incredibly badass knife fighters there is. So you don't want to mess with Lloyd. He will wreck your day. So
Anyway, look. The point is, this is it, guys. The Western way of life of classic liberalism, where we can have a discussion of opposing sides in a rational debate and come to a consensus in the middle with like a rational Hegelian dialectic between Americans who are united. We may not always agree with each other on what to do, but the point is that if we don't find a way to find some middle ground around here, they're just going to pick us apart. They're going to divide and conquer us, and Dugan and Islam and China
Russia
is the future. If we don't do something, guys.
Right. So
that's just
we need to create a plan of action and what to help people do. Because what we see in the next 5 to 10 years is pretty grim. And for those of you who have watched the 16 shows or so on Islam that we've done, most of you should see it too. And the rest of you that don't see it yet, you need to go back and view that. But what they want is what they want is everyone staring at the scapegoat at Israel and not looking at the real threat, and that is part of the psyop. So anybody who's just banging "it's the Jew" drum, they are part of that psyop, either willfully or ignorantly.
Right. And
Leopold
let me bring this up real quick. Like my work was a block away from the San Bernardino shooting, and my dad was like the highest boss of the building that got infiltrated and shot up. Okay, I've been to the building. I saw the bullet holes. I went by the house where the guy did the shooting.
It was not a false
down
flag.
The street. I've seen the shell casings.
This
is not a false flag.
So get this. One of my in my son's karate class, one of the parents, Tim, he worked with the guy who did that shooting, and the guy worked delivery, in the area to various grocery stores and stuff. But Tim had worked at there's a market called Jensen's where the guy had been doing whatever over there, delivery or whatever, and he had been interacting with that guy for years. So, and I also another parent of the karate class, her brother was one of the cops that took him down, that shot him and took him down.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I met another guy through business who was a Muslim, and it was shortly after the San Bernardino shooting, and he just started opening up to me, like spilling his guts to me about how inside the mosque they are militarizing their young men. And because the young men here in America can't find Sharia observant women, that they're marrying women from the Middle East whose dads have taught them that real men are jihadis, and these women are radicalizing these Muslims in the mosques. And he told me this. He said, "Look, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I'm just telling you because I'm from Syria and I've been here in America a long time, and I came here for freedom of religion. I don't want you to be a Muslim. Is it okay if I don't want to be a Christian?" And I was like, "Yeah, great. Just let me be Christian and we're good." You know? So, and he voted for Donald Trump. That guy voted for Donald Trump because he understood the threat that his own people present to America.
Let's see. I'm just looking up Carte Blanche's channel. He's actually looks like he does have a real channel, but he uses the same idiot argument. This channel swings from one extreme to the other, always knowing it all. No, we change direction when we discover new research that proves prior research wrong, and then we admit when we're wrong. And you guys can always fact check it. How about that? Maybe that's a new concept for you. There's a thing called the Trivium that I started putting out a decade ago. You can study that and use it. And, if there's a topic that we didn't study and then we focus on it and we discover we're wrong, we always come out and admit we're wrong and we change directions. Would you?
Give us some info, man.
Right. Would you rather us discover? BS. See, would you rather us find out we're wrong and not admit it? I mean, that's your logic. I mean, it's not logical, but see, it takes a man to admit they're wrong. It takes somebody honest to admit they're wrong. But people like that want people to constantly lie when they discover they're wrong. I mean, it's nonsensical.
Like right now here, I'm going to admit to maybe being wrong about something about the Statue of Liberty being originally a Muslim woman. So after reading the article, the Dashing Rogue had a comment for me saying, well, the way that the article reads, it could mean that since the artist was in Egypt at the time, he just used a peasant woman as his artistic sculpture, even though it was never intended to represent a Muslim. So perhaps that's true about the Statue of Liberty. So maybe my interpretation of the Statue of Liberty isn't the best one. So there, I just admitted that maybe my.
Oh my God, you
isn't the best one.
I bet Carte Blanche has never admitted he's wrong about anything. He's too caught up in his pride. One of the 7 deadly sins. Chip says, "Can you make dick jokes like Toe Rogan and Brian Redband?" I used to know and hang out with both those guys, but I already did make one. The GDL can go. Eat a bowl of alphabet soup and choke on the D.
Or, hey, did you guys see the new condom on the market? It's called the Rogan. Supposedly it's designed after Joe Rogan's sleeping bag.
Good grief. You got any more dick jokes better than that, dude? Come on. Anyway, so this is the first time in the show's 11-year history that we've ever told a dick joke, so. Oh, man.
You ready? New directions for the channel being made already.
Yeah, see? There you go, Tiny Joe. Logos, I have been wrong about many things and used to be a know-it-all like you. Oh, okay. No, actually, I don't know it all. I know the things I've researched, and you can happily fact-check our work, and if you find errors in it, you can show us where they are. That's what intelligent people do. Rather than just talking shit in a chat and pretending you're intelligent, you can actually show us where the errors in the work are in the new direction that we've gone. Wouldn't that be a smarter approach than just pretending like, you've caught me because I changed directions based on research? Duh. Anyway, so I guess that's it for the night. Before the former Yugoslavians take over the chat. Just kidding, Lasic. Anyway, I think that's it, folks. We're going to wrap it up here. But, please send us any ideas and things that you'd like the show to go into. We want to start focusing on, real survival, real planning stuff. Focus on, what is to come. I mean, former Yugoslavians would know all about that. They have Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Albania right next door, and they've fought the Muslims out of Europe for hundreds of years. So they know all too well. Gospod Lasic,
Well, for
Valati
the next
Puno.
one, can I maybe I'll come on next week?
You want to come on next week?
Yeah, unless you got someone else already lined
I
up.
do have Pastor Christopher. Now I'm forgetting his last name lined up, and we're going to go into some dark stuff that he's found on Islam. So, how about the week after? So I planned that.
Good. That's good.
I planned that earlier today. He already confirmed.
No, fine,
so.
perfect. That's great. So, and yeah, don't forget Sunday, Dashing Rogue. I'll be there. We'll be having a combo about Dugan, and then
Gospod Lasic says his father is from Bosnia. See, he already knows.
I want to create a synthesis between the Dashing Rogue and I's information, along with Lucian of Romania, who's a very prolific journalist over there. I forgot his last name, unfortunately, but hopefully I get to talk to him, and I'll get to talk to the Dashing Rogue, and then after that, I think I'll be ready to do Duganism.
I carte blanche. I recommend you look up the oh goodness, what's the name of the group now? Right when I go to say it, I forget the name. Gomerites. Go look up the Gomerites. That's the origins of the Ashkenazim. So there you go.
And you know what?
And you'll find out that you're also a Gomerite. Oh my God. I posted info from Genesis genealogy of Ashkenazim. Too close to truth for know-it-all radar systems. Oh my God. See, he doesn't, you can go and follow the actual historical tree of where all of these groups went, and the Ashkenazim are Gomerites, like you. If you need info on Bosnia, I'm here. Thank you, much appreciated. I wonder if you speak Serbian, Serbo-Croatian, excuse me, and you can still go fact check at the Knjižara, at the bookstore, at the whatever.
Okay, the Gomerites and the Ashkenazi taking over back the Holy Land, it's prophesied about in Ezekiel 38. Go read it, okay? It's God's plan. Did you want to mess with that? That's your problem, not mine.
Well, he quoted Genesis.
Well, that's great. Well, you go
see what people
38.
don't understand is that the laws that we live by in a free society were actually originally laid down by the Jews in the Old Testament and in the Talmud. Can you DM me? You can. I don't know what that means. You can send me a message, Lasic. Anyway, I think that's a good place to stop. But yeah, look up the Gomerites. In fact, I've got some information here, and I'm giving up somebody else's research.
And guys, the word Hebrew means one from the other side. So Adam is a Hebrew because he's one from the other side of the gate of the Garden of Eden. And then you have Noah. He's one from the other side of the flood.
Gomer.
And then you have Abraham, and he's one from the other side of the river. Okay?
Gomerites, so they traveled north,
etc. We're all Hebrews. So deal with that fact, too. You're all Hebrews. You just didn't know it yet.
They can go in and they can follow the whole tree down, and they'll see that the Ashkenazim are Gomerites. That's well laid out. Anyway, we'll follow up later. Of course, that person is all upset. He didn't provide any actual citation. He just quoted Genesis. And then it's proved. And that was too much truth for us, apparently, even though we're discussing it. Amazing. People know everything. They know that it's the Jews are evil, even though they've never read the actual Islamic texts that say they're going to kill all your asses, and they don't even hide it in their books.
Right.
If you're interested in Yugoslavia, check out DynCorp's role in the brothels and trafficking. So anyway, it sucks what the U.S. did to Yugoslavia for sure. That was terrible. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion for another time. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with us, guys. Please send us your ideas and thoughts and opinions and your research. Let's get involved and let's do something, because as you can see, people who are just trying to be open and honest and truthful with their research are apparently shills
and threats,
we must
and
be
then the actors and the Muslims and the Muslim bankers, for that matter, they're the real truthers out there, apparently, right?
Oh yeah.
And for those of you who didn't
the
watch
Muslim real estate agent selling stocks and bonds, who's got a Christian father.
Yeah. Claims to be
what is wrong with that guy?
Yeah. And for those of you who missed the beginning of the show, Albert Bashai, he is a mortgage banker, okay, and he is a Muslim, and he speaks, where is it? He speaks Arabic, right there, Arabic. And that's his photo there.
Co-founder of GDL.
And he's an admitted co-founder of the GDL, and Jesse Spotswood Moorfield and handsome, you can't call it truth because he spouts total BS, or John Menadeo are both actors. It's just a coincidence, folks. I mean, for you coincidence theorists, it's just a coincidence, and they just happen to be spouting the Islamic agenda, and they've got a Muslim on their team. They got a Muzzy right there who pretends to be a Christian and talks about his Christian fathers. My dad was a Christian minister, he says. Obviously, total BS. But, right on his own stuff, he admits, right on his own LinkedIn page, just for those of you who missed it, Arabic, right there. And then you can go on his other page here. His religion is Muslim, and his ethnicity is Middle Eastern American, and he is a banker who hates Jewish banking, apparently. Imagine that. So,
There you go, guys. There it is. So let's we gotta do something about it. And hey, you got anyone else who has like decent research for once? We're kind of tired of dealing with a bunch of MK Ultra mind control projects and sifting out the truth from the facts. Like, if anyone knows anyone who's decent and's got something honest to say, let us know about him so we can listen to them instead of having to pull apart these stupid propaganda campaigns over and over again. It's getting tiring.
And thanks, Losich, for the email. I appreciate it. Thanks for all your support. Please go to logosmedia.com and click on the donate button. Please also hit the subscribe and like button. We greatly appreciate it. And, the truth movement there is no truth movement. There is truth that you seek out and verify on your own. It is not a bowel movement or anything like that. There isn't a big group of truthers. You have to verify citations. You don't just say, I am a truther and I am in charge of the truth movement because my name is Albert Bashai, and then you say dumb crap on your show and make up lies. So anyway, everybody, good night, and see you next week. We'll have, what's his name again? Sorry. We'll have Pastor Christian Monte on to discuss his research, which is phenomenal, and he is of End Time Church. And so that's a wrap. See you next week. Good night.
Take care.